IWM have been committed to working with contemporary artists and thinking about high quality art experience for the whole of our inception. We've been doing that for 100 years, but I think this differs in terms of scale and ambition. Working at this level, we've absolutely filled the Atrium, and working with Ai Weiwei obviously brings a level of kind of standing to the project that we perhaps haven't experienced before.
We worked on this project for about 9 months from the very first inquiry that came into us to the actual final install. The brief was that it was going to be a very high-profile piece of artwork, and it needed to be down in the main atrium of the Imperial War Museum for at least 7 months. So we knew it was going to be a print, and it had to stand up to a high amount of foot traffic. So we decided to print on a product of ours called Clarity, which is a 2mm deep transparent vinyl, and we were able to reverse print the artwork onto the backside of the flooring, which meant no matter the amount of traffic that was on the surface, the print would never actually wear off. It was technically quite challenging because we had a fairly definite brief on what we could and what we couldn't fix to the subfloor, which was a polished concrete subfloor. So we had to use 2 different isolator membranes, a ramboard cardboard layer first that wasn't mechanically fixed to the subfloor, then an isolator membrane, and then the final vinyl. So there's actually 3 layers of 22 drops of material spanning about 44 metres, so it's about 1,000 square metres in total.
In this work, Weiwei is looking at the development of technological warfare over the last 100 years, and that fits really well with our remit as an organisation. We've been around for that 100 years, and so he goes from the earliest kind of grenade that was small enough to be chucked out of a biplane in 1911 right through to recent developments in our contemporary world. Ai Weiwei is really interested in the ways in which we fetishise objects of war, and so it was really important for the project that the kind of meticulous design that he produced was really clear and really apparent in the rendering and in the manifestation of the work. And actually, as you walk across the floor, you can just see the richness and undulation of the object. It's absolutely crystal clear in the way that that reverse print has allowed, and perhaps wouldn't have been able to produce in another way. Obviously, Harlequin have a fantastic track record in terms of working with the art sector in a really broad sense, and we knew that for this project we weren't looking at kind of the ordinary kind of exhibition install that we might produce in our gallery spaces, but here we were looking at a really specific sort of environmental space, site-specific location, which has all sorts of requirements and specifications about it. And so we were really looking for a kind of sector leader to help us work out what the right materials were, the right processes, and Harlequin really comes to the fore in that sense.
The print process actually could move fairly quickly. We can usually print about 3 to 4 rolls per 24-hour period, and then the actual installation just took over about a week. Some of the intricate parts are the welding of the seams. Again, the client didn't want to see a visible join, so quite often you would normally hot weld the vinyl, but in this case we looked at a different solution. We cold welded so you can get a nice tight, almost invisible seam. I think one of the main difficulties was when we realised the complexity of the actual piece of artwork. So not only are we trying to line up 20 different size bombs from one roll of vinyl to another, within each bomb you've got multiple shading, you've got rivets, you've got joins, you've got pieces of metal that we all had to line up, and yeah, technically the installation was very challenging, and I can't commend our install team highly enough.
It's been fascinating and hugely illuminating to work with such skillful contractors. Harlequin were, incredibly present, incredibly available to us. I was here a lot as well with the IWM team. It's been a total pleasure to work on in such a collaborative way, particularly over the challenges of social distancing and all sorts of things that we've encountered as part of the kind of global context at the moment. Absolutely, I felt that we were in expert hands the whole time, and it couldn't have gone better, really.